Hello, everyone. I'm Eric Cox. I'm a member of the Netcapital team. Let's allow 1 minute for everybody to settle in. Thank you. All righty. Well, people are continuing to come in, but I do want to get started since we're running a couple of moments behind. Welcome again. Thank you so much for joining us today for our October demo day. We have 6 companies here to present today. As always, each of these is actively raising capital on the Netcapital platform. I will add the links to each offering momentarily. But before I do that, I'd like to enumerate them. We're going to start with Launchspace Technologies, followed by LiquidVineyards, Revohloo, Zero G Launch, Tutelare, and then Mariposa Technologies. So please just stick around. We have a whole bunch of good content scheduled for you here. Do hang out for all of it. Presenters, please stick around as well, because if there is extra time, I'm going to open it up to questions, and they can be across all different companies. So please do hang out with us. A few quick housekeeping items. We'll allow about 6, 7, 8 minutes for each presentation, followed by a little bit of Q&A, determining on how we're doing on scheduling. Please do use the Q&A function built into Zoom. I know there's also a chat feature, but Q&A makes it so much easier for me to track all the questions as they come in and get to as many of them as possible. And please do ask your questions. We want to keep this interactive, so please do participate in the Q&A feature. As I mentioned, after all 6 presentations, we'll have a little bit of extra time for Q&A, so do stick around for that as well. And I will upload the recording to this into the chat so you can share that with people who were unable to attend. So with all that being said, John Bauman, why don't you come on in here and tell us a little bit about Launchspace Technologies?
I'm going to, and let me share my screen. Let's see if we get that. You got it?
Looks great.
All right. So I guess I'll start. I want to thank everybody for attending. We got a good sized group, and our company, Launchspace Technologies Corporation, what we're doing is we're protecting spaceflight and the future upcoming $1 trillion space economy. I hope you can see my screen, and I'll start scrolling. Is it on, Eric?
It is. Looks great.
Good. All right. So there are 3 threats to spaceflight safety and the global space economy. First one's orbital debris, which is mostly in low Earth orbit. It's probably the biggest threat to the upcoming $1 trillion space economy, as well as astronaut satellites in the International Space Station. The second threat is space traffic management. If you think about airplanes and airspace, you have up to 100,000 new satellites being put on orbit just in low Earth orbit in the next 10 years. Look at Elon Musk at SpaceX. Starlink alone is going to be 42,000 satellites. It is not possible. They're going to be more than that in CubeSats. It's bedlam up there. They're all traveling 17,000 miles an hour in low Earth orbit, but they're closing on each other. So a collision speed's a lot higher than that. NASA profoundly underestimates the amount of small orbital debris. They're using data from 1997. It's crazy. There's really closer to 1 trillion pieces of small orbital debris that can't be detected or tracked from ground-based solutions, but can damage or destroy satellites, space flight, astronauts, the space station. It's bad up there, and it's going to get worse over the next 10 years. The other threat is to our military satellites. Everyone says that's in the know. The next war is in space, and that is going to happen. We have, if you look at my video on my offering page, extreme detail on some of the ways. There are 4 major ways that, due to blindness issues, that let's say Russia or China or other adversaries could sneak up on our national security satellites, take them out, and then we're open to attack. So those are the 3 threats to spaceflight safety and to the global space economy. And that's a big one. They're going to take a lot of people to do all this work, but we believe we're the only ones that have a comprehensive solution to this end-to-end because of our architecture, our patents, and our milestones. The beauty of this is space is growing fast. No one disputes that. Debris grows as there's more spacecraft up there, threats, everything. These problems only increase. And what does that mean? They're going to need a permanent solution. So if you really have a comprehensive solution, you're going to have a permanent revenue source for the foreseeable future. That's the beauty to the problem. If you have a great solution, you're going to have something to do. So let's look at the market. In 2019, the global space economy was 420 billion, which the Department of Commerce, the Space Office of the Department of Commerce, forecasts it'll be 1 trillion in 5 years and 2 to 3 trillion in 10 years. As I said before, it's extremely at risk due to those 3 factors. Next. So we have patent solutions to remove orbital debris. And I'll go into it on the team. You'll see why a lot of people claiming they can do this. We'll talk about that, why we can. And data from sensor satellites, it's like having eyes in the sky. When you're close to the problem, you're going to see better and be able to make better decisions. Okay. Again, recurring revenue is what we're going for. Okay. Let's go through the team. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm the CEO, co-founder, and majority shareholder. Marshall Kaplan, this was originally his idea. He's my business partner. He is considered a giant in the aerospace industry. This isn't just somebody that has some experience. His book is the one that everybody uses on orbital mechanics. He is considered the world authority. He is the first person to even think of the orbital debris problem. NASA gave him money to study it long time ago, before anybody. Bob Walker, he's our lobbyist and on our board. I think he's been on 2 boards for private companies since he's been doing this for 22 years, and ours is one of them, maybe 3. He is the leading, hands down. You look on our offering page, advisor to presidents, head of NASA, joint chiefs of staff, everything. Pentagon, trusted advisor. GP Sandhu, he's an advisor. Long story. He's about to get some serious promotions. He's a government employee, so he hasn't taken a penny from us. He believes in what we're doing, so he's been an advisor. He is a senior executive level service government employee. You can't go higher unless you're a presidential appointee that then gets approved by the Senate. He's very serious. Chris Rollins, and this will be the last. The others, please look on the page. We don't have time. If you look at our weather from NOAA, the GOES weather, his team designed the sensors that forecast, look at the weather. He's done work for decades for NASA and for the national security industry. I'm going to keep going. So where are we now in terms of orbital debris? Well, Airbus is going to put us up for free and take us back for free so we can examine the results. On the upper left, 5.24 million in-kind contribution. Look at our reviewed financials. Their numbers, not mine. Letter from the former president and CEO of Airbus Defence and Space, talking about why he thinks what we're doing is great. It's going on the Airbus platform on the space station. It's going to take debris hits for a year on the outside of the space station. That middle region is a very small scale version of a debris pad. The second step is a small scale version of the pad that we want to put up in a Falcon 9. And the third step is the final solution. Let's talk about that. Boy, again, because of time purposes, I'm just going to breeze through
one more
this.
minute. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, we've got a lot of deals. Space Force, commercial, Airbus, the only NASA Space Act agreement in the world from what we know to do orbital debris. Okay, sales pipeline, again, big, please look. Let's go through the financials. We assume a 9% profit margin. Just look at 300 million for the big pad, 327 with a 9%. Look at the number we're planning on putting up and the years and the data revenue. Okay, that's short to medium term. It's going to be more money from data, we believe. Long term, much more from debris. Summary. Launchspace provides, I'm going to read it because it's darn good, I think. We provide innovative solutions for orbital debris remediation and enhanced precision data for commercial, civil, and national security customers. We've already had contracts with the Space Force. We believe we're the only company that has a NASA Space Act agreement to create technology for an orbital debris solution. A lot of other reasons why we think we're the only ones that have a credible solution. Airbus, I've mentioned, recurring revenues, the problem goes on forever. That is it. I want to thank you for your time and throw me your questions. Go.
Thank you so much, John. Thank you so much, John.
That's on 1 hour sleep, buddy. 1 hour sleep.
I would expect nothing less from the great John Bauman. So thank you for that presentation. We're going to continue right along here, so we have time for questions throughout the process and at the end. But why don't we welcome in Liquid Vineyards. Luigi, why don't you come on in and tell us about Liquid Vineyards? And I'm going to go ahead and stop the sharing and then let you go ahead and share if you'd like to.
Actually, this is Bruce. I'm Luigi's partner. And what I'll do is give you an introduction to Liquid Vineyards, and then Luigi will take it from there and give a little bit more detail.
Perfect. So, thank you, Bruce.
Okay, thank you. Liquid Vineyards. So the purpose of Liquid Vineyards is to offer a new way to invest through wine production and futures by taking advantage of the historic and steady increase in the price of quality wines. There are three key components in Liquid Vineyards that I'd like to share with you. They are digital rights, our blockchain partnership, and our patented 5G capable RFID straps. And I'll start with digital rights, which is the most important concept of understanding Liquid Vineyards. When one invests through Liquid Vineyards, you do so by purchasing digital rights to grapevines for a period of time between 3 and 15 years. These digital rights give you virtual ownership of vines and vineyards from our portfolio. While you don't own the vines, you do own the seasonal product of these vines, which are the grapes, your grapes. And the agreement you have with Liquid Vineyards is to have your grapes made into your bottles of wine. And two important things happen here. First, the bottles of wine produced are your bottles and not wine that was sold to you. Therefore, it can be shipped to you without going through the traditional 3-tier distribution system that adds so much to the cost of each bottle of wine. This means you're getting excellent wines at a price you can't otherwise attain. Second, as the value of these vines appreciate year after year, your investment appreciates along with it. Next is the Liquid Vineyards blockchain exchange. Each year, you can choose to receive bottles of your wine, or you can trade or sell your digital rights for a profit on our Liquid Vineyards blockchain exchange. We're currently in negotiations to incorporate sustainable blockchain technology so that we can provide Liquid Vineyards investors with the security behind every transaction. And last, our 5G capable RFID straps. These are placed on each bottle and each vine of your investment. These will tell the story of the wine from communicated by the producers, and it authenticates its provenance through 5G transmission from winery to your doorstep. Every bottle is uniquely tagged as yours, and it opens up the possibility of using NFTs to further create value from the vines you've invested in and the bottles they've produced. We believe the market for digital rights is massive, and if we can get just a small piece of worldwide wine sales, Liquid Vineyards will be profitable on a relatively large scale. Luigi, I'll leave it to you to kind of fill in from there. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Nice presentation, Bruce. Can you guys see my desktop here?
No, we see your camera, but not your share screen yet.
Okay. Do I need to do anything to show the screen, or you are?
Yeah, if you just hit the green share screen button at the bottom, and then select which window you'd like to share.
Screen, here it is. Okay. So can you now share? Sorry. Okay,
no problem.
Here we are. Now you can see it, right?
Correct.
Okay, this is the dream, you know, typical Italian countryside with vineyards, the Alps on the back, nice church. But the way I look at these vineyards is not for the wine, it's not for the beauty, but it's for the extraordinary financial product they can be. Wine, it's a big global market, which is now being, how should I say, feasted on by these sharks that buy the wine for dollars a bottle, and then they sell it in the United States, China, all over the world for many, many times the amount of money that the farmer gets. Now, with our technology, with these labels that we have, which are like small cell phones. Let me see if I can show you here. You can see the antenna inside and the chip. These labels we place over the bottles and on the vineyards, and we can track what's going on through the 5G networks. I have an important past in the telecommunication industry. I used to work with Ericsson. I built networks in Canada, in Europe. I built millions of cell phones for Motorola back in the days when Motorola was more. I want to do something good in life. I want to be a good capitalist. So a good capitalist is a guy that shares profits, that makes entrepreneurs make more money. These farmers don't have the money to go around the world and sell it. They make good wines, but they are there in their wine cellars unknown to the rest of the world. We have this wine here, for example, it's called Schioppettino. When I brought it to Bruce in California, he didn't know about this wine. Then we had a glass in his home in Santa Rosa. And he said, Luigi, this is a hell of a wine. How can I get a bottle? And then the whole thing got started with LiquidVineyards. The business model is that we select and handpick good wine producers. They have to be reliable, small but reliable. We double the money that we paid for those bottles. We mark them up 100%, but we still deliver wine at a 50% discount. People can buy these digital rights on the vineyards, and if you get the right vineyards, the ones that are small production, the price can only go up and up and up. And if you do not drink the wine, you can certainly cash in with the profits. Each bottle is not a bottle, but it's your bottle of wine with your label on it. We have several patents pending. We have an NFT patent that the bottles can be linked to personality, to sportsmen, and then a bottle of wine, instead of being sold for $20, $30, $50, they can be sold for $1,000, $2,000. And we create a whole new market of these wine bottles linked through NFTs.
One more minute.
We put these straps on the vineyards. They are patented. They have the 5G RFID tokens inside. They work with the power of the waves from the repeaters. I don't know if you know the way 5G works, but through a cell phone, the cell phone acts as a repeater. So the cell phone can talk to these things. They don't have any batteries inside. They just reflect the waves, and your phone communicates with the networks. And then the information goes all over the world. So it is a whole new concept. We are not selling wine. We want to take a nice chunk of that $40 billion market. And even if we get a tiny percentage, within 5 years, we are going to be a billion company. So please look at it as a sophisticated financial product that releases profits to whoever is investing into the system, and doesn't give profits to those sharks that go and buy wine from these producers, and then they bring it through the 3-tier system eventually to your store. We deal directly from farmers to the clients. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Luigi and Bruce. So great to learn more about LiquidVineyards. Next up is Revohloo. Tracy, it looks like you're still on the line. Why don't you come on in? And if you would like to, you can share your screen as well.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Am I doing the robot thing again?
No, no, not too bad. No.
Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen real quick. So I hope everyone can see my screen.
We can.
Great. So Hello, everyone. My name is Tracy DeBarros. Good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for being here. I'm the founder and CEO at Revohloo. Also on the line, you won't be able to see them today, is my co-founders, Gerardo Melendez, Chief Technical Officer, and Robbie DeBarros, our Chief Operating Officer. We're very excited to be here and share with you our passion, which is called Revohloo, the interactive music video streaming service and social network that's powered by patent-pending technologies and a company culture that puts artists first. That's very much ingrained in what we do. I just recently discovered that that is my soft IP. Learned that a few days ago with Eric. But what makes Revohloo unique? What do we have that other people don't have? We have an interactive music video technology that I actually invented. I was thinking to myself, how can I make music videos more interactive and more engaging, right? So a Revohloo music video is an interactive music video. It's our patent-pending technology combined with an artist's official music video content together to create this amazing viewer-generated experience. So if you want to know what that means, like, okay, so you're making music videos, that's great, Tracy, but a little bit of facts, like there are 2 billion people on YouTube a month watching music videos. Music videos are wide, I mean, worldwide. It's amazing. I want to show you what a Revohloo music video is. Hopefully I can share this screen right here. This is really cool. We show this to people and they just love it. They go crazy for it. So let me see. All right. Oh, let's put that down. Okay, here we go. So this is a Revohloo music video right here. Let me get this into focus for you. This is our patent-pending technology. So this is a music video. When an artist creates a music video, they shoot like 2 hours worth of footage, and then they edit that down to about 3 minutes. So you only get to see about 3 minutes of the music video. So what Revohloo does is gives them the opportunity to create an interactive music video experience out of the content that they've already paid for. So this is valuable content. Let's think of it in the context of a major recording artist who just spent $250,000 on a music video. They put that standard version on YouTube, and we encourage them to do that because we don't look at Revohloo as a YouTube killer or a standard music video killer, right? Because if we were doing that, then we would be cannibalizing the industry, right? We would be taking money from revenue that's already being generated here to just bring it over here. That's not the thing we want to do. What we want to do is actually increase music video revenue, and we think we can do that by a factor of 1 and maybe even more, okay? So basically, in post-production, a director can edit and create 4 different endings to the video, 4 different beginnings, 4 different endings, middle sections from official footage. And then kids can actually go ahead and select the version they want right here, or they can just hit this remix button and it'll randomize and pick a video. It's 4 to the 4th power, so it'll create 256 versions of one music video. And again, we know where we fit into the ecosystem. Let's see if we can create this live with this delay. You press create, and you'll get a music video. I'll keep talking. Yeah, so the standard music video itself, we're not here to kill that. We're here to create more revenue, more engagement for artists. Everything's about content today. Everybody's looking for content to share. There are grandmothers looking for content to share, people looking. So when a kid creates this Revohloo music video, they're actually gonna share it because it's just like, hey, look what I just created. So now you've got kids creating official versions of music videos all over the web. They're seeing this official content. Artists maintain full creative and quality control while giving the fans the power to remix, create, and share 256 new versions of their official music video. So what this is, you see how this video starts? Okay, so you start right here. This is cool. And we'll hit that. I'll go back. Delay because of this here. Believe me when I tell you. You can go ahead and play with this yourself. You go to Revohloo, go to revohloo.video. You can check it out. It's very, very cool. There won't be any of this delay because we're streaming here. And you're really, I think you're really gonna like it. But again, the whole value is, the value proposition is us creating a new music video product and a new opportunity for artists and rights holders to monetize their music video entertainment. Streaming is 80 +% of the market now. It used to be CDs, before in the older days it was records, but streaming dominates. Streaming services dominate dominate the music industry. So we come in a very unique space because, again, we know where we fit into the ecosystem. We basically sit on top of YouTube. We don't look at YouTube as a competitor as much as we look at them as a potential partner, right? And for those investors that want to know, YouTube as a potential company to acquire Revohloo, okay? Because of the value that we can create. So we're very much focused on that. But let's put it into context again. One Revohloo music video would be considered premium content. So premium content, we could charge it. We could have a $30 CPM, a $25 CPM. So what that is, CPM is what advertisers will pay per 1,000 views. So at a $25 CPM, that's basically $25,000 per million views. Okay. So you talk about 10 million views, you're looking at $250,000, 100 million views, you're looking at $2.5 million, okay, for one music video. Now we're targeting major recording artists who already have hit videos that get 500 million views, and then that video kind of peaks, the views drop off, it's kind of leveled off, but people still love the song. So now they can bring that music video back after they get the YouTube check, because again, that's part of where we see ourselves fitting in, on top of YouTube, increasing their revenue, increasing their bottom line. Just to brag a little bit, I met with T-Pain. I sat down with T-Pain, internationally known artist, said to me to my face, "Tracy, this is amazing. You're a genius. I've never seen anything like this." We met with Sylvia Rohn, at the time was the president of Epic Records. She's now the chairman and CEO. We said, "Hey, create this, bring this back to me. We will use it." One of the problems is that equity crowdfunding has been a blessing for us. We've raised $32,000 so far. It's not a lot of money to some, but to us, it's just the beginning, because we see ourselves really raising that $5 million annually, at least for the first year, and then being in position for possibly some institutional investments. But again, let me put that into context. If we can create an extra $2.5 million for one Revohloo music video, that's just 100 million views. Now, with that being with Revohloo being a premium piece of content, we have another piece of, this is patent pending technology, by the way. We have another piece of patent pending technology that's called Ad Defender. And what Ad Defender is, it's quite similar to Revohloo, to the Revohloo technology, where would look similar, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So what you see here is section 1, 2, 3, and 4. Imagine another section here called section A, section ad. And I've got 4 different Pepsi ads here. So based on the version of section 1, 2, 3, or 4 that's selected by the fan person, we don't use the term user here at Revohloo. I almost slipped up. But whatever version they pick, that ad will be injected into the Revohloo, and only one file package will be sent to them. So they're having 2 file packages. So this is totally unskippable. So what that means in terms for advertisers is 100% of the people who create a Revohloo are going to see their message. And that's important, because on YouTube, you get about a 60-odd% fill rate, meaning that 60-odd% of the time you'll see an ad.
1 minute.
Thank you. But with that, about half that time, people are using ad blocking technologies. So only half of the time, half of that 63% of the time, advertisers are reaching their target market. So when we can come to an advertiser and say, "Hey, we've got an artist like Justin Bieber, he's made this Revohloo, and every kid who makes, or Ariana Grande, whoever it is, Post Malone, every kid who makes one of these is going to see your message," that is a value proposition like nothing else. And I thank you guys for your time. Go ahead and invest in Revohloo. It's going to be huge. You can see, and so you heard it here first.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that, Tracy. And thanks for the questions that came in. Thinking about the timing right here, I'm going to hold on to some of those and aggregate those towards the end. So please do stick around. Those are great questions, and we'll circle back to the team about that. Up next, we have Zero G Launch. Why don't you come on in here, Robert, and tell us about what you're building with Zero G. I'm going to go ahead and wrestle back control of the screen. Awesome.
Yeah, there we go.
Screen is yours, and you're welcome to share if you'd like to.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it, Eric. Okay, let's go with this, and I'll put it full screen, and off we go. Okay, well, thanks everyone for being here this evening tonight. I'm actually talking to you from Madrid in Spain. I landed this morning from Washington, D.C., and I worked all day. We signed a very major agreement today here in Spain, and I managed to stay awake all day so that I wouldn't just tank. So it's 1 o'clock or 1:30 in the morning here in Madrid. And right after this, I will tank. So anyway, thanks for being here. I want to talk a little bit about our company. We are another space company. We had John Bauman just to start the session today, but I want to talk a little bit about a different angle that we have here. As John mentioned, the space industry is, in fact, a very, very fast-growing industry today. It's by all accounts, it's going to be way in excess of $1 trillion in the next 5 to 10 years. There's another angle to that too, is space tourism. And space tourism right now, with new types of vehicles, balloons, rockets that can come and go and land and come back and be reused with airplane vehicles and so forth, is going to be doubling in the next 5 years. So a lot more people involved in the space tourism part of the business as well. Now, there's a few problems there. And for space, it's availability and cost of testing. Space is not cheap. Let's face it. To build something, to design it, to test it, to get it space ready in terms of being able to withstand the environments in space, you have limited availability of platforms to test with. You have to hire a rocket or a balloon or space, or even send something to the space station, and it takes about a year and a half to do that today. You want to go to some local testing facilities? Well, guess what? You have to put yourself in the line. It may take a year and a half to get some time to test your facilities. Session duration sometimes of zero gravity testing are not available simply, and if they are, the results are less than optimal. So there's another angle here that John talked about is the number of satellites. John mentioned there's about 100,000 satellites that are forecast to be launched. Well, get this. There are 60,000 satellites right now that have received an FCC or ITU frequency license already. That's a big step before you launch any kind of constellation of satellites out there. There's 60,000 already with frequencies. Now, will they all launch? We'll see. But the bottom line is that in the history of humanity, we've launched not even quite 7,000 satellites or something in that neighborhood. And we're going to be launching over 60,000 in the next 10 years alone. So it's a crazy, crazy tempo of launch, which is not properly responded to today. So we have a vehicle, a very simple way of solving this big problem for the industry. And that is doing a specially modified aircraft vehicle that allows us to provide very, very high quality and high precision microgravity testing so that, astronauts can train to go before they go to space, so that we can provide some parabolic flights for testing equipment and deployment mechanisms and so forth before you send them on a rocket with your spacecraft. And also, why not, also offer the flights for consumers worldwide. It will be the only operator offering zero gravity flights internationally as well, not just in the domestic market. And with this vehicle, we can also see, you can see the underbelly, we could also launch rockets. And that makes us maximum use of this aircraft, which we call the space jet, to be able to address multiple vertical markets. And, when I talk about those, for example, I mentioned the zero gravity flights. That's a given. There's a lot of demand in the marketplace, a lot of notoriety of space right now, thanks to Elon, my former boss, and people like Jeff Bezos and so forth. So that's a good market for us from the consumer market point of view. But the science market and the science development market is also another very, very big one for us. And we have several commitments and several agreements for those kind of services. And last but not least, again, also the rocket launch portion, which is a very fast growing market today, in order to be able to launch sufficient satellites to specific locations and orbital slots. And I've been in the business for 30 years in space. So I know where these clients are, and I can see this demand I can prove it with our agreements that we have today. So 2 phases. First phase, we simply provide with this modified aircraft as of the end of next year, assuming everything's financed in place, and we can start flying at the end of next year. We'll do testing of hardware. We'll do human space flights. We'll do the consumer flights in zero gravity, just like the astronauts do. This does give us very, very near-term revenues, which is a nice thing for a company. And it also creates a good visibility and branding for the company as we start performing these flights internationally. Second part would be 23 to 24, which is where we'd actually modify the underbelly of the aircraft to be able to carry multiple types of operators of rocket vehicles. And with that, we can operate these vehicles and launch them from 40,000 feet and allow these missions to be successful We can also provide multiple types of interfaces for not only rocket vehicles, but also more the DoD kind of market for hypersonic type of spacecraft. So it's an interesting model that makes maximum use of one asset that we modify, right? So we would be the first operator to provide both microgravity and rocket launch with the same vehicle in the world. We would provide flights for consumers globally who would be having the amazing, I've flown in zero gravity, and it's something you cannot describe until you do it yourself. Everyone that comes out from zero gravity flights will come out saying, this was one of the most transcendental experiences my body has ever felt, right? And we have a multi-year sales pipeline now of $122 million from signed agreements. We listed on Netcapital, we have a $42 million near-term 3-year horizon. That's now $53 million after an agreement that I signed today here in Spain. And we would be reaching positive cash flow from year 2 onwards, which is very unique for an aerospace company. Not a lot of companies can expect to get cash flow break even in 5 or 6 years even, but we do that in the 2nd year already. And we would be reaching $150 million in revenues after 5 years. And these are concrete opportunities that we have flights signed for worldwide. Big team, who's team. I worked at SpaceX and Hughes and Eutelsat and the big operators around the world. So I know this business inside and out. Our team comes from the airline industry as well for integration, modifications. We got a who's team here to make it happen. So with that, I thank you very much. I want to make just a very, very short announcement, Eric. And this is the part that I wanted to kind of speak about a little bit here. We have a two-prong announcement, actually. One of them is that we signed an agreement today here in Spain, which will appear on the newswire tomorrow. And we've signed an agreement with the Canary Islands, with the aerospace cluster here, to provide zero gravity flights and rocket launch missions in the future. Pre-COVID, Canary Islands had 13 million tourists per year visiting these islands, 13 million. So I plan on grabbing a nice piece of that tourism market to do zero gravity flights out of here. These are tourists that come from Norway, from Sweden, from Germany, from France, and everywhere else to the islands. So a very nice market for us to start making money in the very near term. This would be beginning end of 22 and early 23. So the company, the aerospace cluster of the Canary Islands will also do all the outreach and the media outreach to get the message out that we will be performing these flights 6 months in advance so we can sell a maximum amount of tickets. Right now, we are planning on doing five flights per year, but that could easily go up to 10. Second announcement is that through the Netcapital platform, we will be providing a very, very special package to all investors for any amount that is committed to our platform. For every 25 people that make an investment of any amount in our company, we will raffle a free zero gravity flight experience package on our space jet aircraft with the support of the Kennedy Space Center visitor complex in Florida. It's a $3,900 value, and it will allow, as of the start of Q4 2022, to slot you in one of our flights. And it'll be a whole day affair of visits. You can see the Apollo 8 Mission Control Center there. You'll have the Atlanta Space Shuttle. You see it there, the NASA Saturn V rocket. You could go to the Rocket Garden to see Gemini, Apollo, Mercury rocket stages. Have lunch with some astronauts. Thank you. Have some lunch with some astronauts. And then visit, of course, all the new displays like the Journey to Mars, right? And the other half of the day, you'll spend flying. So you'll go up, get up on our space jet. We'll do a pre-flight briefing. You will have 12 parabolic flights of zero gravity. So you will float in space, so to speak. We'll have 2 parabolic flights of lunar gravity and 2 parabolic flights of Martian gravity. So you'll get a chance to see what all those feel like as if you were there. And of course, we'll do a post-flight briefing and distribution of videos and pictures of everyone flying inside so you can immediately put that on social media. So very fun experience, a beautiful one-day package that it has a value of $3,900, and we'll raffle one for every 25 investors that make a commitment on our Netcapital platform, regardless of the amounts. So just wanted to make that public here, and as of tomorrow, we'll respect that.
I appreciate that, Robert. Great timing as well. Wrapped it up right on the nose. And I see a couple more questions that have come in specifically for Robert and Zero G launch. We're going to hold those to the end. We are going to have time for that. So please do stick around, especially the people who are asking repeated questions for different companies. So please do hold tight. We definitely want to get to those. Those are good questions. In the interest of time, though, we'll continue along. Thank you again, Robert, with 0G. Up next is Tutelare. Come on in here, Vincenzo. Vincenzo.
Yeah, let's see. Can you see me and hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, first, thank you very much to the previous presenters and to Netcapital for hosting. It's an exciting time for the Tutelare Corp. We're a technology company with offices in the US, Roma, Italy, affiliations in Greece, Montreal, and I'm in Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. So welcome. I'm going to start off by trying to share my screen, if I can do this without making an error, and just kick off a video. So I'm going to change the moniker to from all the wonderful presenters to ensuring our families are safer. And we all know how we are concerned about that, notwithstanding what has happened and we see in the news every day with our local venues and schools and just challenges that unfortunately we face. Let's see if I can do this okay. Let's see here. So I'm going to share my sound. I'm going to try to go here. I'm going to bring this up. So this is a video that is on the site as well. So please let me know that you can hear this.
I don't see it quite yet. Can you try that one more time?
Oh, you can't see it?
Not yet, no.
Okay, so how do I? Oh, I'm sorry. There, I'll share it now. Can you see it now?
We do.
Okay, sorry guys. Here we go. Can you hear it?
Yes, we do.
Violent crimes and mass shootings continue to rise, as concealing a weapon gives criminals and potential mass murderers the advantage. Security personnel are mostly powerless because they are effectively blind to it, forcing them to react to situations rather than prevent them. It's time to turn the tide against those who set out to do harm to us. The Tutelare Corporation has an exclusive technology to help law enforcement do their job better and safer. We serve a worldwide security market forecasted to exceed $606 billion by 2024. Municipal, state, and federal governments are scrambling to solve the growing epidemic of violence. From schools to churches, shopping malls, airports, city centers, and sports stadiums, they need to ensure communities are safe. We all want peace of mind, so how can we start to take back control? By making proven top military radar and missile guidance technology available to the security industry. The Tutelare Corporation wearable and fixed weapon detection systems can see threats before they happen. We provide the opportunity to stop potential aggressors in their tracks and protect innocent lives. Our systems are designed to identify knives, handguns, assault rifles, and even explosives with trackable, pinpoint accuracy. As much of an X-ray vision may sound like science fiction, this technology exists today. Investing in Tutelare will enable us to feel safe in our own streets, venues, and lives. Join forces with the Tutelare Corporation. Let's see threats before they happen.
Thank you for that. My name is Vincenzo De Palma. I'm the managing director of the Tutelare Corp, and I'm really pleased once again to be here. So I'm going to share my screen again and get into the differences and the opportunities that our company presents. So just let me see if I can do this again. You guys see that okay?
We do.
Great, thanks. Okay, so the Tutelare Corporation, as I mentioned, is a US company. We're committed to maximizing the protection of people using innovative proprietary technologies. Our amazing team in Rome is exceptional. And I guess the easiest way to define what we're able to do is when you think of a fighter jet's radar abilities to determine a target at massive distances away, they don't lose that target. We're able to remotely and through hardwire determine who in a plaza, a school, approaching a grocery store is actually carrying knives and guns. The global security market was touched on in the video. It's just a massive, massive marketplace. And this is what's really, really strikes the chord, is that these are actual statistics that we very, very rarely hear about, because we only hear about certain sizes of mass shootings. But these are statistics that are real and dear to anybody in the Americas. 610 mass shootings in the U.S. Of course, in England and Wales, it's a challenge as well through Europe. There's 500 people a day that pass away, and our solution is going to provide reasons for these numbers we hope to come down. We chatted about the venues. Essentially, what we're building is a deterrent model where today our technology and our team is able to work at about 26 to 30 feet. Our intention through completing from prototype to completion of product is about 164 to 170 feet. So think of any sports arena that you go to, and you're able to determine with remote devices on the security detail on their eyepiece, walking around at 170 feet, somebody potentially carrying a weapon or a knife. The technology today through prototype is able to determine if I'm passing my weapon on to Robert as we're going through, and I don't mean to pick on Robert just because I see his name there, walking through a plaza or vice versa. And we do not lose that ability to stand that individual through that whole process till we capture or make recognition to security detail or police forces that it is there. The current technologies today are very similar to what you would engage in when you go through a major or minor airport, where you're actually walking through devices. Ours is radar that is about the strength of your telephone. So it's not damaging radar, that is able to beam out and determine who those assailants are, and once again, pass it on to security detail. Modular architecture, we have artificial intelligence. The detection is able to determine handguns, weapons, and also temperature. The temperature piece is kind of a newer addition, but we can determine temperature as well on an individual walking through a plaza and entering a venue. There's reasons to invest in us. We already know it works. We have a prototype. We want to get to market, and we believe that we're groundbreaking. Had many discussions with industry, and we're very, very keen to continue pressing this ahead. I mean, our solution is.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Am I done?
No, you have a couple minutes. You have 2 minutes. So
okay. Sorry. So once again, I touched on our radar technology. We have Italian military partners. It's well known in the world of radar. That not because I'm Italian, but the Italian military radar teams are some of the best in the world, and they are on this every day. This group has been on this project for many, many years. We've incorporated a couple of years ago, and we're keen. Our solution is wearable and fixed, and not intrusive in cost that we believe will be too difficult to go from venue to venue. The mobile application is tremendous. It's something that is not out there today, and it really, here's an illustration of really how it works. No different than the video. The detection and the opportunity and determining with interception, and really deterring people from wanting to come to places is what we want to do. It's a small device. We have done a SWOT analysis on our competitive analysis. This is all on the website, and we're really keen and believe that we're leading the pack here. I'm going to move ahead to our team, an amazing team of management with US experience, Italian experience, obviously other academics. Mark's amazing, and I'm on the board with some wonderful former military and police force individuals, and we're keen to move forward. So our advisor team is pretty special. Everyone's in the industry, and that's pretty much it. Hopefully I didn't have you say you're out of time.
No, that was perfect timing. I was just about to announce it. Thank you so much for that, Vincenzo. We saw some good questions again coming through. Love the engagement. Usually we're more interactive with this, but we do have 6 presentations today. So please hold tight to those questions. And if you're okay, we'd love to run just a couple of moments over, because we did have technical difficulties in the beginning that kept us a couple of minutes late. So let's allow our last presenter to come in now, Mariposa, and then we'll circle back to all those questions to each of our presenters. So Michael, I see you on the line there. I'm going to go ahead and wrestle control to the screen back, and then you can come on in and you are welcome to share your screen if you'd like to.
Excellent. Thank you.
There you are. Awesome.
All right. Can you see me?
We can.
Excellent. Can I just start?
Yes, please.
Great. I'm Michael Dalimole. I am the Chief Operating Officer at Mariposa Technology, and we are currently developing a novel testing protocol based on a proven scientific technique used across multiple disciplines for the last 80 years that will shake the foundation of the commercial hemp industry as we know it. We have a dedicated team of published scientists, business and finance executives, and technology systems experts with over 120 years of collective experience. To name a few, Dr. Jim, our CSO, is a published research scientist with over 20 years of laboratory experience in plant biology, calcium signaling, and defense responses. Michael, our advisory CTO, is a veteran software executive with over 30 years of experience designing and implementing technology solutions for some of the world's largest companies like IBM. On top of our in-house team, we have engaged in an exclusive technology service contract with Texas A&M's AgriLife Research Center and Kurowski Labs for ongoing research and development of our testing protocol and our database. Together, we plan on sampling and analyzing thousands of strains of hemp over the next 24 months. The only absolute in the US hemp industry across all states is the federally mandated standard of all hemp plants containing less than 0.3% total THC content. Hemp crops failing to meet this standard are immediately dubbed as hot and are therefore illegal, so they must be destroyed. States routinely report failure rates of up to 25% of viable crops at harvest, and millions upon millions of dollars of potential earnings are literally burned to the ground every single harvest. The solution. Mariposa Technology is developing a revolutionary protocol for rapid in-field testing of live hemp crops. By utilizing a handheld Raman spectrometer paired with our proprietary database, test results are affordable, accurate, and quickly available to farmers and growers. Truly a first of its kind digital farming tool. Our unique technology will provide real-time results for total THC content, as well as an array of other key analytes as our database continues to grow through user input. The technology. The Raman effect was discovered in 1928 by Indian physicist C.V. Raman. In 1930, Raman won the Nobel Prize in Physics for his discovery, also known as Raman scattering, which became the foundational theory behind Raman spectroscopy. RS is a scientific technique used to determine the vibrational modes of molecules by way of light scattering technology. Raman spectra provide a structural fingerprint or a vibrational band by which molecules can be identified and studied. The output from these vibrational bands runs through our database, resulting in nearly 100% testing accuracy, the most accurate in-field test results in the industry, and by far the easiest testing protocol to perform. THC detection is only our initial solution. This technology is able to detect levels of any other molecular analyte in the cannabis sativa plant, like CBD, for example, as well as early signs of disease, mold, and bacteria. As of 2021, all 50 states have legalized hemp with well over 500,000 acres of licensed land ready for cultivation, with an estimated 9 million licensed acres by 2030 in the US alone. Our market is focused and easily identifiable. Any and all commercial hemp farmers, including and especially those producing for grain and fiber, are potential customers, Generally speaking, we can expect massive industry growth across all things hemp for the foreseeable future, with CAGR at 34% for an estimated $36 billion market. The current testing industry standard is lab-based HPLC. Results from HPLC can take 1 to 7 days, cost $75 on average per test. And for reference, most hemp farmers are running between 10 and 100 tests per week once their crops mature. Results from these tests are inconsistent from lab to lab, with multiple reports of up to 30% testing variance, making results untrustworthy and very misleading for farmers and growers. Dissolution-based systems like HPLC are highly prone to user error, and they can be easily manipulated. Furthermore, these testing protocols have a large carbon footprint and require tons of extraneous items and steps for preparation, things like gloves, solvents, chemicals, special lighting, climate control, and more. Our closest on-site testing competitor is Orange Photonics Light Lab system, an in-field dissolution testing kit. It costs $14,300 upfront with recurring consumable costs like gloves, vials, solutions, solvents, etc. tests then cost $5 each as a recurring cost to the user, with over a $1,000 annual device calibration fee every year. The system requires many hours of training followed by hours of sample preparation for every single sample tested, and the fastest possible results will come in 10 minutes. Our service costs only $2,500 upfront plus $250 per acre with a 10-acre minimum. It requires only 20 minutes of training, works with any computer or device with a web browser, does not require sample preparation, and results take just 30 to 60 seconds with the ability to test as many times as possible with zero added cost. The total cost of our service per harvest is roughly 2% of the potential profit per acre realized by the average farmer and grower. To date, we have successfully identified the market for our novel use of Raman spectroscopy. We have hundreds of contacts of hemp farmers across multiple states. We have significant market interest ranging from farmers and growers to laboratories and testing facilities. Our research and development agreement with Texas A&M AgriLife is executed and in process. We have assembled a strong, committed full-time team with diverse backgrounds to drive this business forward. And we have identified investor tax incentives, including IRS US Code 1202, which essentially eliminates federal capital gains taxes in most circumstances, as well as Louisiana's angel investor tax credit. Thank you for your time and attention. I would be happy to take questions.
Thank you so much for that, Mike. Love learning more there. And that does conclude all 6 of our presentations. Thank you so much to our presenters and our panelists, as well as our attendees. We have some really great questions that came in from the attendees. So I'm just gonna go top bottom. So please do stick around, Mike. But I wanna go first to the questions that came in for previous presenters. So perfect, thank you for stopping and sharing your screen. So the first question that came in was, how does Revohloo differentiate from Vimeo Create, which already creates great videos with music and effects today? So do we still have Revohloo on the line here? I think so. I actually think we might have lost the team member from Revohloo.
I'm here.
No, there you are, Tracy.
No, you didn't. I'm here.
So could you help us differentiate Revohloo from Vimeo Create?
Well, Revohloo is not just the music video platform. It's also a social network that we're developing. It's really engaging and really we're doing some really different things over there. So I mean, I'm not really, and to be honest with you, I'm not really familiar with Vimeo 3. You said
Create, yeah.
Vimeo Create. Well, I mean, it's different because I mean, our technology, I haven't seen anything that's comparable. Honestly, we've been out there, looked, and there's nothing. There used to be a company years ago called, I forget what they're called. I forget the name of the company, but they had a branching video technology. So during the playback of the music video, you had like these decision points. And I found the experience to be very, very distracting. People still want to watch a music video without having to work during the playback. So that's one of the main differences between that technology, and they went on to raise about $20 million. But again, another differentiator there was they were doing a lot of different things, right? They were doing advertising, they were doing music videos, they were doing instructional videos, they were doing all these different things. Whereas our focus right now is clearly on music videos. Although we do see other applications, there are definitely some really cool applications for Revohloo. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, and then last 2 questions for Revohloo here, and we'll move on to the rest of them. For every remix shared, how does the artist get their royalty? And what about advertisers remixing and buying their version of a remix? So royalty rights and then kind of copyright protections under the remix build.
Right, so all the content is licensed through normal licensing channels. You know, we don't own any content ourselves. We're an ad-supported service, so there's a 50-50 revenue share, a very similar model to YouTube. So if you're the content creator, you would own that content and you would earn that revenue. And our licensing agreements are pretty standard. They're built into the app, so you can opt in to monetize content on Revohloo. You don't have to. Every piece of content isn't monetized. If you opt in, you can monetize that content. There's no you know, we don't have a minimum threshold. You know, you could have, there's not a minimum of number of followers you have. So that's a different story there. And again, and you can choose different ways to get paid, different payment methods as far as how you get paid for your royalties. But it's a 50-50 revenue share. The question, which were advertisers, I mean, owning owning the content. Give me that question again.
Yeah, sure. The question was, is there a concern about advertisers remixing and then buying their version of a remix?
Well, I mean, I don't know who they buy it from because we wouldn't actually sell that to them. And again, any exchange of revenue would be a 50-50 revenue share with the original content owners. So we have a licensing agreement with the content owners, and that's that. But I mean, I don't know where advertisers would want to buy it and what they would do with it. So I don't kind of fully understand.
Yeah. No, I think that was perfect. Thank you so much for that, Tracy. And that is Revohloo. Continuing along here to make sure that we maintain time. Robert, you went through and answered some questions that came through, but for those who didn't see this, there's a question. Presumably one client trip could include multiple parabolic hops. Is that correct? And then Robert, do you want to come in and answer that for anybody else who's curious about that?
Yeah, a standard consumer parabolic flight would be a 2-hour flight from beginning to end in the air, and it would include 15 parabolas, of which 12 would be zero gravity, 2 moon, and then 2 Mars G's, right? So the total of 2-hour flight, 15 parabolas.
Perfect. And then somebody also asked, the picture shows a jet with the gear down. Have you launched a rocket yet?
Yeah, I got that question many times. The reason why in that particular picture we show the gears down is because that's a longer rocket. And with the longer rocket, you can't retract the gears anymore when you take off. We can do release missions of rockets either with the gear up or the gear down, depending on how long the rocket is. If it's over 60 foot or so, then we can't retract the gear anymore. We can still perform a mission with the gear down. So it looks strange, but yeah, I have that question from time to time from people.
And you came ready for it. Thank you so much for that, Robert. And that again was 0G launch. Continuing along here to Tutelare. The question is, do you hold patents for this now? That's for you, Vincenzo.
Yeah, thanks. We've aggregated many pieces of the technology with our group out of Roma. So we have links to the patents that are within the corporation. So we're controlling what we're moving forward here, yes.
Yeah, and then last question for you. What about the growing number of legal concealed carry communities? Are you assuming that everyone is a bad actor?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're not here to be a lobby group. We're not saying you shouldn't carry and change the jurisdiction state by state. We're not taking guns away. We're just trying to encourage and allow people to feel safe when they buy a ticket to go to a concert or the kids get dropped off at school. And quite frankly, it's shocking to know the amount of deaths and occurrences every single day, because we see them every day on how we track it. So yeah, thanks for the questions.
Yeah. And then bringing us home, last question. This one is for you, Michael at Mariposa. I own stocks in such farms currently. My question is, as the government eases the regulations, is there still a market for the THC test in the long term? Follow up, do you have patents on this?
Yeah, so we do believe that that THC testing in the hemp market will continue to be necessary. As of now, we've seen no signs of the mandatory testing going away. It's also something that's really important to the market. It's one of the main differentiating factors between cannabis and hemp. And so the THC test as of today and in the near-term future is the most important test in the hemp industry. If anything at all, we see it becoming paired with other types of tests. We do not see it going away. Additionally, the technology that we have is going to continue to improve through deep learning algorithms. And so every user we have, with all the additional data that gets uploaded to our system, we will be able to continually improve accuracy, grow the strain database, and continue to add strains, day over day with new users. And I mentioned it briefly in my presentation, but the most important thing to remember about our technology is that THC is just the starting point for us. We plan on, as soon as we've come up with what we believe is a good standard deviation in terms of a THC database for hemp, we're going to move on to CBD, CBG, terpenes, et cetera. So it's really just the beginning of a tool that will be able to optimize the cultivation of your crop and far beyond hemp or cannabis. We see this being used across every agricultural sector for every crop that exists. There's no reason not to think that big, because this technology is capable of detecting any and all molecular analytes in anything carbon-based. So anything that is biomaterial, which is everything, especially in agriculture, will be able to be tested and fully viewed through the Raman spectra. So the opportunity is endless. We really just need to be able to do the research and development to get to those points. And as of now, we're only working on THC. In terms of patents, we do not have a patent as of now. The device, specifically this device, is currently used by a lot of law enforcement. The bomb squad uses it, SWAT teams use it, TSA uses it. It's primarily used for drug detection at the moment. So the device in and of itself is not patentable. We do potentially have plans for developing our own device down the road, but for now that's on the back burner. We're very happy with the devices we're using currently. And beyond that, we do believe that the algorithms and the neural networks that we're creating to perform the database allocation is patentable. So we do have lawyers looking into that at the moment, and we do believe that there is intellectual property there. But I can assure you, if someone else wants to go out and scan all of these hemp plants and try to do what we're doing, I would commend them for doing it. It's very hard work. So we don't think we need a patent at the moment, but we are definitely looking into it. And we have a lawyer on staff who is looking into this.
Fantastic. And that is the last of our questions. I want to thank all of the attendees for staying along with me and bearing with the slight delay. I want to thank all of our panelists, the team at Launchspace Technologies, LiquidVineyards, Revohloo, Zero G Launch, Tutelare, and Mariposa Technologies. But most of all, I want to thank everybody for their thoughtful questions and engaging with the Q&A in the chat. As always, this has been recorded. I just added a link to Netcapital's YouTube account into the chat feature. Please feel free to hop in there, view anything that you might have missed, and of course, feel free to share that generally. Again, a reminder that each of these companies is actively raising capital on the Netcapital platform. You can go to netcapital.com and you can search for the name of these companies, or you can hit any of those links that I just added to the chat for each of the companies that just presented. So thank you again to our panelists. Thank you so much for our attendees, especially the question askers. And for the rest of you, please enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks for the presenters as well. Thank you.
Thanks to Netcapital.
Right.
Hey, ciao, ciao. Thanks.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks, Dave. Bye now.
Right.